Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine, part of the Eternal Circle. I'm also known as the Psychic Mummy. Today we're going to be talking about the different gifts of an intuitive or medium, and we're going to be talking about the difference between intuitive and medium as well. So we're going to start looking at those terms and terminology. There are differences between mediums and intuitives for certain. We work on different types of things, okay? I think that's important to note because there's a lot of people that don't see the difference, but there is a difference. Obviously, one works with just specifically those that have passed over, and one of us, we work with kind of like a jack of all trades kind of ideas, so working with energy or working with tarot cards or working with channel darts, things like that. Okay, clairsenses are the types of different gifts that an intuitive or a medium would have. So it's basically a collective word phrase which includes all types of psychic sensitivities corresponding to the five senses, which is feelings, taste, smell, hearing, and seeing. Okay, clairsenses in psychic terms are translated to clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, which is sometimes referred to as clairempathy, but it's not the same. Technically, they're not the same. They're two different things. Okay, there's clairsent and clairsavorance. Okay, clairvoyance, also known as clairseeing, which is probably the most known for most people. A clairvoyant is one who receives extrasensory impressions and symbols in the form of inner sight or mental images, which are perceived without the aid of physical eyes and beyond the limitations of ordinary time and space. These impressions are more easily perceived in an alpha state or during meditation. Okay, though many clairvoyants can obtain visual information regarding the past, present, and future in a variety of environments. Okay, I will give you an example too. It's not just in the inner mind. It can also happen outside as well, face to face. While I was in high school, I had to ask for a haze. So to put a haze or an aura around these entities or those that had passed over for me to know which was which, because it was rather embarrassing for me to be talking to someone and then have a person come up to me and be like, who are you talking to? Which happened quite a few times, and because of being the already school weirdo and the newbie in the school, okay, it was already difficult as it was, so I had to make sure that I had a haze on those entities and those had crossed over, so that way I knew the difference. So that's why. So for me, I get the mind's eye images when I'm doing channeled art, or if I'm doing tarot reading, or if I am doing meditations when I'm on the street, or if I'm doing, say, house cleanings, then that's different. For me, it's more face to face. There are two different types. Most people are more comfortable when it comes to only seeing things in the mind's eye. Okay, there's clairaudience, which is clear hearing. It's to perceive sounds or words and extrasensory noise in the form of inner ear or mental tone, which are perceived without the aid of physical ear and beyond the limitations of ordinary time and space. These tones and vibrations are more easily perceived in an alpha state during meditation, though many clairaudients can obtain verbal and sound-related information regarding the past, present, and future in a variety of environments. Most channelers are also known as mediums, work with both clairvoyance and clairaudience. I say most channelers, not all channelers, okay? Because not all channelers are mediums, once again, okay? We're going to talk about clairempathy next, okay? An empath is a person who can physically tune into an emotion and experience of a person, place, or animal. Clairempathy is a type of telepathy to sense or feel with one's self, the attitude, emotion, or ailment of another person or entity. Empaths tune into the vibration and feel the tones of the aura. So I'm going to say this now. I get really frustrated with other readers or other intuitives that make it a shocker that a person is an empath. Okay. The reason why I get a little frustrated at this is because of the fact that I'm going to say 96, 97, probably even 98% of the people worldwide are going to be empaths at some state, even if it's unknown to them. At some point, there's going to be a small smidge of empathy. Okay, so when you're, say, in a happy state and you say pass by someone who is not in a happy state, someone who is in a negative state, right? And like 5-10 minutes later, you find yourself in that negative state as well. 10-1, you've picked up on that person's negative state. Okay, that is a form of empathy. Their vibration has just changed your vibration. There you have it. Okay. Or you could be looking at a person and just feel that they are off somehow, even though they are smiling and laughing, but you know that they are actually sad or depressed or actually angry. You can pick that up, okay? So when a reader or an intuitive tells you, oh, you're an empath, I get really frustrated with that. That's just personally me, just because of the fact that I kind of figure that everyone pretty much is well on their way as being an empath. It's just that there are different tunes, people in tuned to being an empath. So some people are going to be more in tune to being an empath than others. Some people are going to be more open to receiving than others. Some people are going to be a little bit less receiving than others. So at the end, I'm going to, if I have time, I'm going to discuss about how to work with empathy and how to be able to control it, because I can see that there's a lot of people out there who seem to have a big problem with trying to turn it down, and a lot of people are having a very hard time trying to manage it, and it's interfering with their lives. So I will gladly try to assist with that. Okay? Clairsentience is also known as clear sensing. Okay, this is where it gets different. Okay, this means knowing or sensing something that, while it can be justified, isn't always rational. Sensing things that aren't right but can't explain why. So if you are, say, used to taking a route back home that you're used to taking like 100 times, okay, but this one time you just feel like something isn't right about taking this route back home. Just this one time, you're like, no, something ain't right. I shouldn't take this route, and you don't know why. Okay, so you decide to take another route home, and you find out that later on there was a car accident, car pileup. Okay, that, my friends, is clairsentience. Okay, and that is the difference between clairempathy and clairsentience. It is knowing something but not having it justified, not having any rationale as to why. You just know something. Okay, empathy is picking up on someone else, someone's emotions. Okay, knowing someone's emotions, that's different. Okay, there's clairscent, which is clear smelling. Okay, to smell a fragrance and odor of substance or food which is not in one's surrounding. Okay, I don't think I need to really explain that one too much. So like, if you're at home and suddenly you smell lavender out of nowhere, and you don't really have lavender in your home, well, that might be a sign that someone's saying hello, or a spirit guide saying hello, or someone's trying to grab your attention. So usually that's usually a sign right there. There's clairgustance, which is known as clear tasting, also known as clair savorance. So to taste a substance that isn't actually in your mouth. which usually happens during a meditative state most of the time, or when you are astral traveling or in a dream state. I'm going to say that it's going to happen more so often than, say, here mundanely. I find that it happens more so when you're in a meditative channeling state than you would get just walking around on the street. Um, that's one way that you can tell if you've had a past life experience while you've been dreaming, is definitely the taste of something. Sometimes if we are astral traveling ethereally in a dream state or meditative state, usually we can, especially if we're being given food items or drink items ethereally to quench a spirit thirst or a spirit hunger, we might be able to pick up on that sensation or that taste as well. Tangency, which is clear touching. It's more commonly known as psychometry. Okay, it's to handle an object or to touch an area and perceive information about the article, its history, or its owner that is previously unknown to the clairtangent. So the person who is touching the object, the clairtangent. Okay, so this is so like if someone were to take my necklace, okay, and be able to touch the stone on it or the cord on it, right, and someone was able to pick up on the history of it and the emotions on it, the personality of the person wearing it, that's what psychometry is about. Sometimes the person might be able to pick up on images, or maybe there's a word on it, things like that. Okay, we're going to talk about channelers. Okay, there are people who are sensitives who allow spiritual entities to use their bodies and minds as a link between this plane and higher planes of consciousness for the purpose of receiving psychic information or healing energy, most commonly known as a medium. Once again, most, I'm not going to say all, most are. Okay. There's various forms of mediumship. Okay, spirits require a method of communicating between their world and our physical realm. Mediums serve this purpose by acting somewhat like a psychic telephone or a screen. The spirits can send their transmissions through the medium or channel, who then relays them to the appropriate person. So that's how mediums are able to give the message to the right or correct person, because they are being told who it is. Okay. Just looking over my notes here, skimming. Okay, so if it is in poor connection, so if there's a poor connection between medium and say their channeled state or entity, right? If it's a poor condition, then the signal will suffer from interference. But if it's a good condition, then it will have clear reception. Okay, the same rule applies with all channelers and mediums, especially where the mind, emotions, and energy are concerned. So if I was sick, or say if I was feeling down, sad, kind of bleh, then I would not have the energy to be able to read well. So emotions can affect readings. Physical state can affect readings. Also, people that are under the influence can affect readings. I did a little bit of a rant on Instagram, not gonna lie, about people who went on a little bit of a woohoo about being intoxicated and giving readings. I don't agree with that at all. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it, because if you don't want to get in a car with someone who's drinking and driving, why would you go for a reading? Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it here. Okay. Universal law applies. when it comes to such things. Such factors as mental or emotional upsets, physical neglect, energetic imbalance, and even external factors such as moon cycles will have bearing over clarity of the reception. The energy is particularly important, as if it is low, then it can attract lower entities. Okay, in alignment with the well-known universal law of like attracts like. This relates to all levels of being. Okay. The most common forms of channeling and mediumship are as follows. Okay, there's the light trance. This is where there's a partial awareness, but the mind is in a state similar to having a daydream. Okay. Spirits step partially into the aura in order to transmit messages through the medium. There's the deep trance. Okay, it's the state there is no awareness at all. The channeler is unconscious. The subject leaves the physical body, and a spirit or guide comes in to occupy the empty vessel. There's awake channeling. Okay, messages are transmitted consciously, and the subject is totally aware. This is also called conscious channeling. Transmissions can be received in various ways during this state. So, like automatic writing during this time. Sometimes art channeling during this time. Okay. Alternating trance, the subject slips between awareness and deep trance. This is usually controlled. It's a controlled state with messages coming from impressions, transmissions, and directly from spirit. So this is where psychometry kind of fits in with this. How messages are received from the realm of spirit. There's visual only, so images, words, pictures, energy patterns, symbols are received or seen. Sometimes visual mediums see pictures in the ball, somewhat like photographs or short films, tea leaves, clouds, and other objects with patterns can also lend themselves to transmitting messages to and fro. Images that are perceived by the medium in a visual sense are able to be converted into pictures to express them more clearly. This is called psychic art, which is what I do. Okay. Aura only, sound, spoken words, and audible information is heard. A sensation of the ear being opened up on an inner level may be experienced by the medium. Sometimes a crackling sound is apparent, as if someone had crushed a piece of cellophane next to a medium's ear. Then a voice may be heard, and if may speak in sentences or give singular words to express whatever wants to be conveyed. Okay. Secondly, they are neither critical nor self-defeating, like the inner critic that regularly voices our doubts and fears. But firstly, they have an entirely different character and speak of things that are unknown to the receiver. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that how you know the difference is that when you're getting a message from spirit and they're talking to you, all right, this message comes in through crystal clear, okay? Comes in with no judgment, no doubts, no nothing, okay? It is a message through and through, okay? Unlike when you are doubting yourself, unlike when you have these doubts or mixed emotions or mixed thoughts, that is not a message whatsoever. That's not a channel message. A channel message is when it's straightforward and completed in a sentence structure or even in singular words, without doubt or hesitation. Okay? Feeling only, okay, the subject may gain impressions or vibes regarding something that these feelings are then translated into messages. The medium may experience sensations such as pain or discomfort, elation, excitement, anxiety, wisdom, nervousness. Okay, these are examples. Okay, usually these are feelings that the spirit wants to communicate. Right. These sensations can be connected with clients sometimes, physically, emotionally, mental, or on a spiritual condition. So, like, if I'm reading for someone, if I'm doing a tarot reading, because once again, I'm not a medium, I don't practice mediumship. If I'm feeling like my heart is palpitating. Usually, to me, that's a form of someone who has a severe anxiety disorder. If I feel like my stomach is extremely off, I might be picking up on someone who has stomach issues or bowel issues. If I'm feeling extra super tight in my body or super sore in an area, I might suspect that they have arthritis or joint problems in that area, or muscle issues as well. So there's a lot of things that can come across. If I'm suddenly feeling like the need to cry, I might relate that to someone having maybe a bout of depression, or perhaps they need some healing. Yeah. Lots and lots and lots. But either way, when you're dealing with this type of state, you will definitely know who it belongs to. You'll know if it belongs to spirit, or you'll know if it belongs to the client. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, and buts there. You'll know whose is what's, right? Like, if you're well connected and you're a medium and you say you're a medium and a channeler, you'll know between who is feeling what. Okay? That's just how it should be. There shouldn't be any guessing game with that. There's other methods. Sometimes other senses can become involved in the process of receiving messages from spirits, such as touch and smell, which a certain aroma may be detected, or changes in temperature in the surroundings may be apparent, indicating a presence. A combination of methods or sensations, it's not uncommon. Physical mediums often experience the presence of spirits on many levels. For these mediums, communication with spirits is like having a real person in the room. Therefore, their personality, physical attributes, scent or sound of the voice, for instance, can be described in detail, making the spirit easier to identify. The level of ability is quite rare and is often called the gift. Complete contact is when a spirit steps into the energy field of the medium and starts speaking through their physical body, which would be complete contact. Okay, the medium's voice may change somewhat, even to the extent of speaking in foreign languages fluently. The vocal intonations and character of the spirit that is being contacted may become more evident as well. Trance mediumship. This form of mediumship renders the candidate totally unconscious, okay, and in a state of deep sleep. So the medium may be laying down or sitting in a supportive chair in order to accomplish this trance state. Okay, this form of mediumship is very, very dangerous. Even like this kind of mediumship can even lead to death, especially if things get extremely out of hand. Usually when a medium goes through this type of state, there's usually someone there to be like a support system, to try to assist the medium to come back to physical vessel. But sometimes medium doesn't make it to physical vessel. Okay? So basically, the vital energy of the medium is often raised to such a degree that it can literally short out, okay, if earthed by touch of an onlooker. This in itself can lead to possible heart failure, extreme shock, or even death. Great trust must be placed in both the controller and the spiritual guides to ensure safe sitting. Okay? What is normal? Okay, most sensitive people will perceive a spirit through one or two of the first three categories mentioned above. This is quite common. Around half of the people that you meet daily have experienced some psychic phenomenon in their life so far, no matter how small. Okay, mediums simply develop this natural sixth sense, okay, and fine-tune it so that it works for them from the minute to minute rather than the odd occasion. Okay. Human beings all possess the sensitivity to detect ghosts' presences, but just as not all of us are expert runners, gymnastics, or public speakers, only certain individuals really have what it takes to fully realize their potential. And so, I mean, not all of us are going to pursue channeling ghosts. We're not all going to pursue, say, evicting entities from houses. We're not all going to be healers. It's not going to happen, right? Like, I'm not going to be a math teacher. I'm very abhorrent with math. I'm no good with it. But for me, I could evict entities out of a house like no tomorrow. For me, I could channel past life paintings like no tomorrow. But this has been a part of me since I was a small child. So this is completely different. Someone who has had a high interest in mediumship or in the intuitive sense that wants to pursue it, then yes, obviously their gifts would expand, right? Talking or conversing with the spirit world is something that all humans can do, okay? But only a select few develop the skill and clarity of mind to enable clear and accurate communication. Self-delusion, possession, and madness are negative side effects of conversing with spirits that can occur when the mind is untrained or weak. The senses are not properly developed, or there has not been adequate energetic training to deal with adverse situations, energies, and beings. It is essential that the medium can tell the difference between spirits, thought forms, and other entities. The other thing that I'm going to add in there as well is the intoxication part. Obviously, if you are intoxicated under the influence, that's going to be a negative trait, and that is not going to serve your purpose when trying to communicate with spirit. Okay, that's not going to work well for you. It's not going to bode well for you, and it will actually cause a lot more harm than any good for you and for the others that are being involved with you. So that is my warning for you. Okay, there are some bizarre states of contacting the spirit, which is sleep deprivation, hallucinogens, and other narcotics, prolonged audio, sound stimulation, isolation, consistent meditation, vision questing, physical mutilation, torture, mortification of the flesh, starvation, dehydration, past life regression, out-of-body experience, hypnosis, extremely intense emotions or in dangerous situations, trances without drugs, spirit possession, Ouija board sessions, seances. So all these things, okay, they're very bizarre methods, which I highly, highly do not recommend at all. But these are methods, okay? Methods only. I do not recommend them at all, okay? But these are methods that people have actually tried. These are methods that people actually do, and these are methods that I do not support at all. Vision questing, I can maybe see. Meditation, but not consistently. We're talking about meditation that's going on for like 24 hours solid, like meditation that's extreme meditation. I don't really see that working out too well. Okay. Vision questioning is a little bit different. Do your research on it, obviously, and depends on your cultural background. Ouija boards, I stay away from personally. That's just like opening a doorway and not knowing how to close it, and asking for anything and anything to come through. All this other stuff, really, I do not endorse it. Do not. But this is the information that I found. Yes, this is some of the ways that people have done it, and like I said, I do not endorse it. In some cultures, it is believed that the ability to communicate with spirit is inherited. Okay, it may be only one person in the family generation, or it may be the second child in the seer divisions of the family tree. Some cultures consider that new medium is chosen by those in the spirit world, or perhaps one chooses to become a medium and thereby undergo the appropriate training. Let's see. A dedicated spirit medium or channel is always learning and growing spiritually right up until physical death. One cannot be in touch with infinite realms and not experience such growth. In a negative spiritual path, there may be rituals involved to invoke a lower entity that will ensure worldly riches or materialistic favors. The ultimate price for this type of enslavement is high, and the slave rules possessively over every aspect of the candidate's life, especially over areas of sex, love, and friendship. I don't know too much about the negative side or the dark magic stuff. I have worked with dark sources, but only to learn from them in order to utilize the information in order to facilitate for healing purposes. So meaning learning from the dark sources in order to be able to, say, remove certain parasites and learn how to remove them properly, or to remove entities properly. Okay? Such entities are troublesome and are invoked by means of personal degradation, mutilation, and neglect. Any form of so-called development that calls upon you to throw your self-respect out the window is questionable and will not attract higher, honest, or honorable spirits at all. Exercises that build your self-esteem and self-respect, helping you to realize your true worth in the world, are positive and highly recommended in spiritual development, obviously. Okay? Goes without saying. Automatic writing. When we talk about automatic writing, pardon me, I got an itchy nose for some reason. Gotta go piss a fool. We are talking about channeling, we are allowing information to come through our hand from the other side or from our own higher self. Although there may be no way to prove whether or not automatic writing is real, you will come to your own conclusions. At first, it may be hard to understand how easy this process is, but being able to set your analytical side aside, will help you accept the wonderful tool that can be in your life, With automatic writing, you can access all the ideas, knowledge, and wisdom that is and ever will be known, It involves consciously shifting your mind and mental space in order to achieve an expanded state of consciousness that is called a trance. And I think that's how some people have come about writing some of the books out there on the Akashic Records, is through some of a trance state, and partly automatic writing, because some of the information regarding the Akashic Records, some of it that has been written, would have had to be coming from an automatic writing source. And if you look at, say, some of the religious texts, I'm not going to say which ones, some of them may have automatic writing, but more of the religious texts are from a channeled state, because most of the prophets were not literate and didn't know how to write, so they channeled in order for the writer to write down the information. So there's channeled artwork that is not controlled by the artist. A meditative or light trance state is usually employed, and the artist has no conscious aims as to color or subject matter. Another form of channeled art is in painting spirit guides or past lives, in which, although the artist may be aware of the subject matter, they are guided throughout the painting process by spirit. Another thing that can be channeled as well, art-wise, is music. So there you have it. There's many different types of channels, many different types of sources, many different types of gifts, and there's some big no-nos, and there is some good stuff and good information as well. Like I said, anything that has to do with any form of intoxication or anything that is of negative nature is not going to be a good outcome on a spiritual path. And for those that are seekers out there, for readers or spiritual advisors, you need to be aware of who you are dealing with. If you are coming across people that are posting things like, oh, get a reading from me, I'm completely wasted, maybe stay clear from them. Just an inkling. Even if it's free, I wouldn't even bother. It could be one of those things where it'd be like hopping into a car with someone who was inebriated. It's the same idea. The information would not be accurate. The information would be probably garbage. And not to mention, if you're slightly empathic, you'll probably feel like poo. So talking about empathy, so one of the things that I will say is how to control your empathy is by simply thinking of or visualizing a button, okay, or like a volume button, one that you can control. Either like a volume button that you would have on a stereo or a volume button that you would have on like a TV clicker, okay? You want one of those, okay? And you want to visualize that button somewhere on your spirit body or on your physical body, okay? One that you can have access to, okay? And you want to be able to find it. You want to make it, create it, okay? And put it somewhere, right? So it could be on the back of your neck. It could be on your arm, okay? It could be on your shoulder. Doesn't matter. Wherever you feel comfortable, okay? What you want to be able to do is be able to have settings, okay? You want to have low, medium, high, just like a dial kind of idea. Better off being a dial button to me anyways. But you should not have an off setting. If you have an off setting, then you might not have a very good time trying to open it back up when you want to. When you have it off, it's harder time to open it back up. And it makes it a hard time to have that gift again. Okay? So basically what you're trying to do is create this button, you visualize it, and you create it, okay? Take some practice with it, okay? Test it out, all right? So what you want to do is, depending on how you are feeling, right, you want to lower the dial, okay, to a setting that makes you comfortable, okay? So that way you're not feeling everybody's emotions and you're not being bombarded by everybody, all right? Because I know how much that sucks, especially when you're new to empathy or if you are extremely open to empathy. It is a lot to take on. The other thing to remember is when you do come back to your home is to ground it out. So you need to figure out, okay, you gotta think of everyone else's emotions first. Don't think about your own. Think about, okay, everyone else's emotions that any emotions that aren't mine, I need them to leave and ground it out or disconnect it out, just to get rid of it. So that way you're not bringing it into the house with you, or into the home with you, so that way it continues to drain you. You don't want that, because you could just wake up and be grumpy. You don't want that, do you? And you don't want to be bothered while you're trying to relax during the evening, right? Or during the day. Okay, so try to do the dial button thing. Visualize a dial button, okay? Play with it. Figure it out. Try to set it on a low setting. Try it on a medium setting. Try it on the high setting. And just try to figure it out for you. Figure something that's comfortable for you, and and that's all you can do. Like I said, if you turn it off, if you turn it completely off, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to turn it back on, and you might be at risk for not being able to turn it on again. Okay? So that is my conversation about the different senses, and the difference between mediums and intuitives. Mediums deal more with those that have passed over. Sometimes they deal with spirit guides. Intuitives, they deal with more of a spread of things. They deal with energy work, healing work. They deal with entities as well. They might deal with the odd spirit or passed over spirit, but usually they leave that up to the mediums, I think. Like I said, I can see passed over spirits, but I'm not a medium. I choose not to be. One thing before I let you all go, on all of my social media pages, I'm letting everyone know that I'm going to be hosting a contest in May. For each social media page, I will be hosting a contest, and with consent from people who are going to be signing up for the contest, I will be doing a YouTube video on either a past life or spirit guide painting to whoever the winner is of the contest. So that way I can show people how I do my channeled art. So what I'll be doing is leaving your name anonymously, so I won't be using your name, obviously, because I believe in confidentiality, but I will be using the information of the spirit guide or past life that I'll be doing during the painting or the sketch process. I will come back and show the painting eventually when it's done. And then I'll be sending the painting and the write-up with it to whoever has won the contest through the mail, of course, without charge. So it will be set up through the 3 social media websites. That means I will have 3 winners, so pay attention. Okay, there will be 3 winners. So if you're on Instagram, there's a chance that you can win on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, there's a chance there you can win on Facebook. If you're on Twitter, there's a chance you can win on Twitter, okay? However, I'm going to make sure that you're not going to have double chances. Sorry, okay? I believe that there should be chances for everybody, and I believe that there should be chances for everybody. So yeah, basically I think that should be fair, right? I shouldn't be drawing names, 2 names for somebody. Anyway, with that being said, I will be posting those details on each social media site in May. Look forward to doing those YouTube videos for everybody. I hope that you found this to be informational, and hopefully you found it interesting and educational. Certainly it's a lot of information to process, especially when it comes to trancing and about spirits and communicating with them. Like I said, there are some no-nos in the spiritual world, and you just have to be alert about that. So anyways, without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I got my new decks in, so be looking for that. Ciao.